Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Neshtiki. Om Agdanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavad Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 4 Chapter 11 Verse 1 Maitreya Uvacha Nishamya Gadatam Evam Rishinaam Dhanushi Dhruvaha Tandadestram Upasprushya Yannarayana Nirmitam. Maitreya said, my dear Vidura, when Dhruva Maharaj heard the encouraging words of the great sages, he performed the Achmana by touching water and then took up his arrow made by Lord Narayana and fixed it upon his bow. Dhruva Maharaj was given a specific arrow made by Lord Narayana himself, and he now fixed it upon his bow to finish the illusory atmosphere created by the Yakshas. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Without Narayana, the Supreme Person of Godhead, no one is able to overcome the action of the illusory energy. Without Narayana, without taking shelter of Narayana, we can't overcome the action of illusory energy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also given us a nice weapon for this age, as stated in Bhagavatam, Sangopangastra. In this age, the Narayana Astra, or weapon to drive away Maya, is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in pursuance of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, such as Advaita Prabhu, Nityananda, Gadadhara, and Srivasa. So, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the weapon to drive away Maya. If we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, still Maya is attacking us, then we can understand that we are not chanting it properly. So clearly Prabhupada is saying this is the astra for driving away Maya. So now, so many times we ask questions, what do we do to drive Maya? Simply chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra properly. The difficulty is we can't do that chanting properly if we are not doing proper Shravanam, if we are not in the association of good devotees, then we can't chant that Hare Krishna Mahamantra properly. So simply chanting that Hare Krishna Mahamantra means Brahmamurta, reading Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, association with good devotees. This is a prerequisite for us to be able to chant the mantra properly so that then it becomes a weapon to drive away Maya. Sandhiyamana etasmin maya guhyaka nirmitaha Shipram Vineshur Vidura Klesha Gnanodaye Yatha. As soon as Dhruva joined the Narayanastra arrow to his bow, the illusion created by the Yakshas was immediately vanquished. Just as all material pains and pleasures are vanquished when one becomes cognizant of this, fully cognizant of the self. So just as he joined the Narayanastra arrow to his bow, the illusion immediately vanquished. He didn't have to actually fire the astra. Just as all material pains and pleasures are vanquished when one becomes fully cognizant of the self. That means that he stops bothering about the pains and pleasures of his body. Krishna is like the sun, Maya hoy andhakar. Krishna taya nahi Maya radhikar. The illusory energy of Krishna is like darkness. Darkness means absence of light. Similarly, Maya means absence of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness and Maya are always there side by side. As soon as there is awakening of Krishna consciousness, all the illusory pains and pleasures of material existence are vanquished. Again, so this also shows if we are still affected by pains and pleasures of this material world, we are in Maya. That means that we are not awakened our Krishna consciousness. Mayam etam tarantite. Constant chanting of the Mahamantra will keep us always aloof from the illusory energy of Maya. So constant chanting. So actually, I experienced this last few days. That just even in the night, and if we get up and we are disturbed because of something, just take the Mahamantra, take the chanting bag in your hand. That's all. Simply that does the magic. So we should not hide our chanting bag. After our chanting in the morning, we hide our chanting bag so that we don't see it till next day. Uh, that's not correct. So we should keep it as handy as possible, so that whenever little Maya seems to be attacking us, take up the chanting bag. And then understand that taking up the chanting bag at that time is taking shelter of Krishna, like emergency call for Krishna. Krishna, Maya is attacking me. Please help me. And then chanting Mahamantra will keep us aloof. Very powerful. So Maya can be kept at bay simply by taking shelter of Krishna in the form of his holy name. Tasyar Shastram Tasyar Shastram Dhanushi Prayunjatah Suvarnapankah Kalahamsavasasah Vihisruta Avivishur Vishadbalam Yathavanam Bhima Rava Shikhandinaha. Even as Dhruva fixed the weapon made by Narayana Rishi onto his bow, arrows with golden shafts and feathers like the wings of a swan flew out from it. Arrows with golden shafts and feathers like wings of a swan flew out from it. They entered the enemy soldiers with a great hissing sound, just as peacocks enter a forest with tumultuous crowing. तैस्तिग्मधारै प्रधने शिली मुखैर् इतस्ततः पुण्यजना उपद्रुताः तमभ्यधावन् कुपिता उदायुधाः सुपर्णम् उन्नध्वाना Ivahayaha. Those sharp arrows dismayed the enemy soldiers, who became almost unconscious. But various yakshas on the battlefield, in a rage against Dhruva, somehow or other collected their weapons and attacked. Just as serpents agitated by Garuda rushed towards Garuda with upraised hoods, all the yaksha soldiers prepared to overcome Dhruva with their upraised weapons. Satan प्रसत्कैरभिधावतो मृधे निकृत्तबाहूरुशिरोधरादरान् निनाय लोकं परम् अर्कमण्डलं व्रजन्ति निर्भिद्ययम् ऊर्ध्वरेतसः. When Dhruva saw the yakshas coming forward, he immediately took his arrows and cut the enemies to pieces. Separating their arms, legs, heads, and bellies from their bodies, he delivered the yakshas to the planetary system, which is situated above the sun globe and which is attainable only by first class brahmacharis who have never discharged their semen. To be killed by the Lord or by his devotees is auspicious for non-devotees. The yakshas were killed indiscriminately by Dhruva, but they attained the planetary system attainable only for brahmacharis who never discharged their semen. As the impersonal granis or demons killed by the Lord attain Brahma Loka or Satyaloka, persons killed by a devotee of the Lord also attain Satyaloka. To reach Satyaloka planetary system described here, one has to be elevated above the sun globe. Killing, therefore, is not always bad if the killing is done by the Supreme Person of Godhead or his devotee or in great sacrifices. It is for the benefit of the entity killed in that way. Material, so-called non-violence is very insignificant in comparison to killing done by the Supreme Person of Godhead or his devotees. Even when a king or the state government kills a person who is a murderer, that killing is for the benefit of the murderer, for thus he may become cleared of all sinful reactions. An important word in this verse is urdhva which means brahmacharis who never discharge semen. Celibacy is so important that even though one does not undergo any austerities, penances, or ritualistic ceremonies prescribed in the Vedas, if one simply keeps himself a pure brahmachari, not discharging his semen, the result is that after death he goes to the Satyaloka. So this is described in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Who goes where, which planets, etc. Generally, sex life is the cause of all miseries in the material world. Basically, getting married is the cause of all miseries. In the Vedic civilization, sex life is restricted in various ways. Out of the whole population of the social structure, only the grihasthas are allowed restricted sex life. All others refrain from sex. The people of this age especially do not know the value of not discharging semen. As such, they are variously entangled with material qualities and suffer an existence of struggle only. The word Urdhva especially indicates the Mayavadi sannyasis who undergo strict principles of austerity. But in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that even if one goes up to Brahmaloka, again comes back. Brahma Bhuna Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Therefore, actual mukti or liberation can be attained only by devotional service. Because by devotional service, one can go above Brahmaloka to the spiritual world, wherefrom he never comes back. Mayavadi sannyasis are very proud of becoming liberated, but actual liberation is not possible unless one is in touch with the Supreme Lord in devotional service. It is said, Anam vinana mritim taranti. Without Krishna's mercy, no one can have liberation. So very important for grihasthas not to waste semen. That is the reason why we have four regulative principles. Engaging in sexual intercourse with the wife only for procreation is allowed. Otherwise, it is sinful. Even this simple fact actually today in ISKCON is not spoken, you know, and people have various misconceptions about this. Once there was some kind of a panel answering some questions of devotees who are to be married, basically all the boys. And this question came up saying that, I've heard like this. And one of the panelists, who's a senior person in ISKCON, he said that no, 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 nothing like that. It's all, fanaticism. And no, it's very, very clear. It's not fanaticism. It's a very basic rule which has been given to us. Because Prabhupada is saying sex life is the cause of all miseries in the material world. He didn't say illicit sex here. He just says sex life. Right? So it should be restricted. Clearly restricted in various ways. That restriction is the four regulative principle. And Prabhupada says this very clearly elsewhere also, unless for procreation, no question of engaging in sex life. But again, even we don't want to explicitly even state what has already been clearly stated by our acharyas. It's a very, what to say, convenience or worried. Oh, that how can I say something like this? People can't accept it. So we are becoming acharyas. We have to simply repeat the message as it is with realization. Prabhupada said that is parrot-like chanting is not good. Repeating with realization has to be done. Okay, and also the high qualification of those brahmacharis who never discharge their semen, they go to Satyaloka. So exalted. So we can understand how fallen is just grihastha life or sex life. Of course, if one lives as a devotee, following four regulative principles, then he is much above the normal brahmachari who can go to Satyaloka, because like Prabhupada says here, we can go to Vaikuntha, Krishna Loka. And so devotional service is the important thing, not some austerities. It's like, that Brahmana who wanted to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and who was just drinking milk and doing severe austerities. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you can't attain Krishna by just being strictly, just milk. Somebody who's just drinking milk cannot achieve Krishna. So like that. So these austerities by themselves are of no value unless there's Krishna consciousness. But at the same time, when there's Krishna consciousness, there's also value for for these austerities. These have to be followed, and that's why they are given as principles, regulative principles, so that we can actually follow them. Tan hanyamanan abhivikshya guhyakan anagasas chitra rathena bhurishaha autanapadim kripaya pitamaho manu jagadopagata sahasribihi. And Swayambhuva Manu saw that his grandson Dhruva was killing so many of the yakshas who were not actually offenders. Out of his great compassion, he approached Dhruva with great sages to give him good instruction. Dhruva attacked Alakapuri, city of yakshas, because his brother was killed by one of them. Actually, only one of the citizens, not all of them, was guilty of killing his brother Uttama. Dhruva, of course, took a very serious step when his brother was killed by the yakshas. War was declared and fighting was going on. This sometimes happens in present days also. For one man's fault, a whole state is sometimes attacked. This kind of wholesale attack is not approved by Manu, the father and lawgiver of human race. He therefore wanted to stop his grandson Dhruva from continuing to kill the Yaksha citizens who are not offenders. So in one sense, Dhruva was put into illusion that he went overboard in terms of punishing one instead of punishing one Yaksha. He took up mass killing. So Swayambhuva Manu had to come. Anurvacha alam vatsatiroshena tamodvareణ papmana yena punyajanan etan avadhis tvam anagasaha. Lord Manu said, my dear son, please stop. It is not good to become unnecessarily angry. Atiroshena tamadvarena. It is a path to hellish life. Tamadvara. Papmana. Now we are going beyond the limit by killing yakshas who are actually not offenders. Punya Janan said yakshas. By doing this sinful act, you are by this sinful act, all these yakshas who are Punya Janas, you are killed and they are offenseless. In this verse, the word Atiroshena means with unnecessary anger. Atirosha. Too much, unnecessary. Dhruva went beyond the limits of necessary anger. His grandfather Swayambhuva Manu immediately came to protect him from further sinful action. See, this is sinful action because he went beyond dharma. From this, we can understand that killing is not bad, but when killing is done unnecessarily, or when an offenseless person is killed, such killing opens the path to hell. Dhruva was saved from such sinful action because he was a great devotee. So even though he fell into illusion, he was protected by association. Quality association comes by for a devotee. Kshatriya is allowed to kill only for maintenance of the law and order of the state. He is not allowed to kill or commit violence without reason. Violence is certainly a path leading to a hellish condition of life, but it is also required for maintenance of the law and order of the state. Here, Lord Manu prohibited Dhruva from killing the Yakshas because only one of them was punishable for killing his brother Uttama. Not all of the Yaksha citizens were punishable. We find in modern warfare, however, that attacks are made upon innocent citizens who are without fault. According to the law of Manu, such warfare is a most sinful activity. Furthermore, at the present moment, civilized nations are unnecessarily maintaining many slaughterhouses for killing innocent animals. When a nation is attacked by its enemies, the wholesale slaughter of the citizens should be taken as a reaction to their own sinful activities. That is nature's law. If a nation is involved in mass killing of innocent animals, then Prakriti will cause mass killing of human beings. The reaction to their own sinful activities. And so this is collective karma. That is why the head of the nation should be very, very sober and sane. That is nature's law. Nasmatkulochitam tata karmaitat sad vigarhitam vado yadupadevanam arabdhaste kritainasam. My dear son, the killing of the sinless yakshas which you have undertaken is not at all approved by authorities. And it does not befit our family, which is supposed to know the laws of religion and irreligion. Nanvekasyaparadena prasangadbhavo bhataha raturvadhabhitaptena vayangah praturvatsala. My dear son, it has been proved that you are very much affectionate towards your brother and are greatly aggrieved at his being killed by the yakshas. But just consider, for one yaksha's offense, you have killed many others who are innocent. That is why this is illusion. Family entanglement is illusion. Kunti Maharani also prays to Krishna that She had attachment to both Vrishnis and Pandavas, and she was praying Krishna to remain with them. So she was thinking, oh, now I'm depriving Vrishnis of Krishna's protection because I'm attached to Pandavas, who are my own family, and then Vrishnis are my mother's family. So she was very she felt that, please cut my tie of affection, she prays to Krishna. Because and that is the reason we are not expected to become bodily attached to you know house, family, relatives, etc., etc. Because then we will end up doing wrong things. Simple. Too much attachment results in wrong actions. Nayam margo hi sadhunam rishikeshanuvartinam yadatmanam paragruhya pashuvad bhutavaishasam. We should not accept the body as the self, and thus, like animals, kill the bodies of others. This is especially forbidden by saintly persons who follow the path of devotional service to the Supreme Person of Godhead. The word sadhu nam rishikeshanu vartinam is a very significant. Sadhu means saintly person, but who is a saintly person? He is he who follows the path of rendering service unto Rishikesha. Narada Pancharatra, it is said Rishikena Rishikesha Sevana Bhakti Ruchate. Cause of rendering favorable service to the Supreme Person of Godhead with one's senses is called bhakti. Therefore, why should a person who is already engaged in the service of the Lord engage himself in personal sense gratification? Dhruva advised here by Lord Manu that since he is a pure servitor of the Lord, why should he unnecessarily engage like the animals in the bodily concept of life? An animal thinks that the body of another animal is his food, therefore, in the bodily concept, one animal attacks another. A human being, especially one who is a devotee of the Lord, should not act like this. A sadhu is not supposed to kill animals unnecessarily. सर्वभूतात्मभावेन भूतावासं हरिं भवान् आराध्यापदुराराध्यं विष्णोस्तत् परमं padam. Very difficult to achieve the spiritual abode of Hari in the Vaikuntha planets. But you are so fortunate that you are already destined to go to that abode by worshipping him as the supreme abode of all living entities. You already worshipped him as Param whom Vishnu. Duraradhyam is very difficult to propitiate, to satisfy him. You've done that already. Then why are you acting like this? That is his question. The material bodies of all living entities cannot exist unless sheltered by the spirit soul and the super soul. Spirit soul is dependent on the super soul who is present even within the atom. Therefore, since anything material or spiritual is completely dependent on the Supreme Lord is referred to here as Bhuta Vasa. Dhruva, as a Kshatriya, could have argued with his grandfather Manu when Manu requested him to stop fighting. But even though Dhruva could have argued that as a Kshatriya it was his duty to fight with the enemy, he was informed that since every living entity is a residence of the Supreme Lord and can be considered temple of the Lord, unnecessarily killing of any living entity is not permitted. Why unnecessary killing? Any jiva himsa, any kind of himsa, mentally, physically, is not permitted. Jiva daya is required to have compassion towards other jivas by seeing them as spirit soul. So obviously, unnecessary violence against any jiva is not permitted. Is not permitted, either through words, through actions, etc. Satam hareranudhyatas api sammatah katam tva avadyam kritavan anushikshan satamrutam. Because you are a pure devotee of the Lord, the Lord is always thinking of you. And you're also recognized by all his confidential devotees. So when one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, Lord is always thinking of him, and the devotee is also recognized by all Krishna's confidential devotees. Your life is meant for exemplary behavior. Please note, this is applicable for all devotees. Our life is meant for exemplary behavior. I'm therefore surprised, why have you undertaken such abominable task? So we have to if we can remember this statement, by Manu, who is the father of mankind, who is a devotee, who is the guide for all humans, how they have to live. And he is also setting standards for pure devotees, and he's saying pure devotee, and Lord is always thinking of pure devotee. The pure devotee is also recognized by all Lord's confidential devotees. So, life of a pure devotee is meant for exemplary behavior. That is the reason we should always wear tilak, be in Vaishnava clothes, keep reminding ourselves, saying that, oh, I'm supposed to be a devotee, I'm supposed to be acting like a sadhu. And then when, low class behavior, we demonstrate low class behavior, then our acharyas, our gurus, they'll say the same thing. I'm surprised. Why have you undertaken such an abominable task? It's a shame. We have let down our gurus, our acharyas, when we engage in abominable task. Abominable task is anything which is restricted as per our acharyas, regulated principles, jiva himsa, la puja pratishtha. For doing anything which is not exemplary, mm, which is low class, which is not the behavior of a devotee, mm, then all of them will ask us, oh, I'm surprised. How is it that you are behaving like this? We should feel ashamed. So we should think, always remember this. Oh, I'm letting down my guru. I'm letting down my acharyas by this behavior. Why am I doing this? For what am I going to achieve? At the end of the day, we are here to please Guru and Krishna. And we should remember Guru and Krishna both have to be pleased. Sometimes devotees misunderstand Guru's instruction and do something which might not be pleasing to Krishna. Mm, like a bad example can be Ashwatthama, who thought that his master Duryodhana will be happy by his killing the sleeping sons of Pandavas. Like that, just assuming that, oh, this will be good, this will be appreciated. And then that is why it's always Guru Sadhu Shastra, not any of these independently or in silo. Because then only our understanding will be corrected. Maybe we understood Guru, then we hear from sadhus and we read from Shastra, and then we understand, no, 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 my understanding is wrong. Let me fix it. And only when it is approved by Guru Sadhu Shastra, it's not an abominable task. Dhruva was a pure devotee and was accustomed to always thinking of the Lord. See, reciprocally, Lord always thinks of those pure devotees who think of him only 24 hours a day. As a pure devotee does not know anything beyond the Lord, so the Lord does not know anything beyond his pure devotee. Swayambhuva Manu pointed out this fact to Dhruva. Not only are you a pure devotee, but you are recognized by all pure devotees of the Lord. You should always act in such an exemplary way that others may learn from you. Under the circumstances, it is surprising that you have killed so many faultless yakshas. Very nice, beautiful those statements. Pure devotee always thinks of the Lord. Lord always thinks of pure devotees. Pure devotee does not know anyone beyond the Lord, anything beyond the Lord. The Lord does not know anything beyond his pure devotee. So beautiful. And we should aspire, hanker for this position. Nothing else is really worth hankering. Just imagine Lord thinking about us. Lord thinking about us. Lord always thinks of those pure devotees who think of him only 24 hours a day. तितिक्षया करुणया मैत्र्या चाखिल जन्तुषु समत्वेन च सर्वात्मा Bhagavan samprasidati. Lord is very satisfied with his devotee when the devotee, please note this, greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. So be very, very simple one-liner can be the guiding force for us in terms of with respect to how we have to deal with other people, be it devotees, non-devotees. Lord is very satisfied with his devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship and equality. Titikshaya, Karunaya, Maitriya, Samatvena. Please remember tolerance, mercy, friendship, equality. Tolerance, mercy, friendship, equality. It is a duty of an advanced devotee in the second stage of devotional perfection. What is the second stage of devotional perfection? Madhyamadhikari, to act in accordance with this verse. The three stages of devotional service. In the lowest stage, Kanishta, a devotee is simply concerned with the deity in the temple and he worships the Lord with great devotion according to rules and regulations. That also according to rules and regulations, not whimsically. A neophyte devotee follows according to rules and regulations. Worships the Lord with great devotion. But he doesn't have any understanding of the devotees of the Lord. In the second stage, devotee is cognizant of his relationship with the Lord. Now, addition, his relationship with fellow devotees. Not only that, his relationship with persons who are innocent and his relationship with persons who are envious. So he becomes cognizant of relationships. Relationship with Lord Krishna. Relationship with fellow devotees, relationship with persons who are innocent, relationship with persons who are envious. Sometimes devotees are ill-treated by envious persons. It is advised that an advanced devotee should be tolerant. He should show complete mercy to persons who are ignorant or innocent. And he should show friendship too with fellow devotees. Teacher devotee is meant to show mercy to innocent persons whom he can elevate to devotional service. Everybody has to be a preacher. So we cannot hear this and just say, okay, this is not for me. Because everybody is preaching through their actions, through their behavior. So every devotee is meant to show mercy to innocent persons. Everyone by constitutional position is an eternal servant of God. Therefore, a devotee's business is to awaken everyone's Krishna consciousness. That is his mercy. As for a devotee's treatment of other devotees who are his equals, he should maintain friendship with them. The general view should be to see every living entity as part of the Supreme Lord. Different living entities appear in different forms of dress. But according to the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, a learned person sees all living entities equally. Such treatment by the devotee is very much appreciated by the Supreme Lord. And therefore said that a saintly person is always tolerant and merciful. Friend of everyone, never an enemy to anyone, and is peaceful. These are some of the good qualities of a devotee. Actually, we can just remember this. Tolerance towards all people who are envious to us, mercy towards innocent, friendship towards equals, and equality. These three are at least described very clearly. Okay, equality because we have to see everybody on the platform. So this is a devotee. So we have to just try to mold our life to come to this platform. If we come to this platform, then we are in Madhyama stage, Madhyamadhikari. Otherwise, we are in Kanishta. Okay, stop here. Anybody has any questions, comments? Anything? Yeah, Prabhu.
Prabhu, so if Grahastha basically discharges, so what is the practical tip to control that? Because this is very important.
Discharging semen, I mean, see, basically, there's no question of contraceptives. That's all. First of all, stop getting contraceptives. Then it's easy, right? Then what? Are you ready to maintain a football team of children? No, you're not. So then it's clear, sense gratification. So stop. That's all. Practical tip is stop. Stop getting contraceptives over. If you can just do that, then automatically you will come under control. And no other contraception, no other artificial means. Just right. And then we have to remember, at least, we have to remember this. It's breaking regulatory principle simply. We just think that it is illicit. It is illicit, right? If it is not being used for producing children, of course, it cannot be Maybe not illicit, but it is sinful for sure. Why? Because it's sense gratification, and we should just simply follow. We should try, right? And see more and more all of these things, is, of course, sometimes, situations are very difficult for some people, like, anyway, I don't want to go into too much details. If anybody wants, they can talk to me separately. But the general idea is that we have to just, we are taking shelter of these contraceptives, so we should just, yeah, put ourselves into that situation where we can't take shelter of it. Then, yeah, then we'll go to another stage of contamination. That's why I said so. We can speak about it offline.
Yeah, but sometimes what happens, even after praying to the Supreme Lord, sometimes the addiction doesn't go down,
Yeah, not sometimes,
and you
Prabhu. This
repent.
is this is
Yeah.
this is lifetimes. This is not one lifetime. It is multiple lifetimes of contamination. So it takes time. It takes time. But we can't give it up in the sense, um, we can't just succumb to it and just say, no, it's okay. That's a mistake, right? I know. I mean, yeah, many devotees who don't take it seriously at all. Forget about trying to act on it. They just don't take it seriously only. So the first step is to first take it seriously. Then, yeah, because it's not easy, we need, I mean, which is why Prabhupada says, no, sex life is the, and shackles of material life. So it takes time. It takes time. Mm. Of course, I mean, here some devotees are very new to Krishna consciousness, and they might be thinking, no, it's so easy. Yes, that is the initial kick of devotional service. After a few years, when things settle down, then all this nonsense will come out. Anyway, but it's not that it has to happen for everybody. But yeah, some people suffer because of this more than others. But general guidance is that don't take it for granted. That's all, right? And we have to keep thinking about this action of ours and feel repentant all the time, saying that
Mm.
what nonsense am I doing? And that is why it is good to be preachers, because when you're sitting and preaching, right, when you're telling others, then if you're not able to follow, how much guilty you will feel and how much repentant you will feel and how much more effort you will try to put to overcome that, right? And that is why preachers, Krishna gives mercy to preachers, right? And somehow, how much ever difficult things are, somehow Krishna will help them come out, become ideal in terms of behavior. So we have to take up this preaching. That's what will change life for us. If you're just doing our own sadhana, yeah, these anarthas will continue and we will not have strength to overcome them. We need special mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, so take up preaching,
Yeah.
heavy preaching, and these things will go.
Yeah.
Course of time.
Yeah. Also,
Okay.
anything recommended in Shastra, Prabhu, that we can pray to, like Lord
Yeah,
Nrsimhadev or this thing to give more
yeah,
strength?
yeah. Look at the eyebrows of Krishna.
Hmm.
Look at the eyebrows of Krishna. Then Aniruddha. No, one form of Krishna is recommended to pray. I can't remember right now. I can remember this, that we have to focus on the eyebrows of Krishna. Another is, yeah, of course. I mean, another is to hear, after we have gone through all the 9 cantos, to hear about, uh, the pastime of Krishna with gopis from liberated souls. Repeated hearing will remove lust from the heart. Yeah, there's one, I can't remember, Pradyumna or Aniruddha. One of them have to be worshipped, or we can take shelter of them. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can take shelter of Guru, we can take shelter of Acharyas, we can just keep begging anybody and everybody, please bless me so that I can overcome this nonsense. But yeah, Bhagavatam says something. Let me see if I can get it. I'll share it with
Yes, sir. Thank you
you.
very much.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mataji. Pranam Mataji.
Prabhuji, like many times, one partner is a devotee and one partner is not a devotee.
Yeah.
And this becomes a little,
Yeah. Which is why I said, there are a lot of complications with this, right?
because
Yeah,
I had seen my Guru Maharaj also, like when the newly married couple used to come and the girls crying or the vice versa, he used to tell them, okay, like, I mean, we follow 4 regulative principles. Like, and he says, I'm a sannyasi, you come to me, what do I ask? This is a it's a very sensitive this thing. What we should understand is it's not for sense gratification. And see, many women also, Prabhu, like I've seen it. Like if the husbands are not, then they break, and then other men are eyeing on them. There's a lot of complications which go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if we are not taken shelter of Krishna consciousness, then which is why, I mean, today in ISKCON, though there are marriages amongst devotees, then there are divorces, then there are affairs, then there is this, there's so much of nonsense happening even within ISKCON. That is simply because nobody has actually see, which is if people don't read Prabhupada's books seriously, people don't want to come out of bodily conception of life, what will happen? Right? And there's nobody, they don't take shelter of any senior devotees who cross these stages. They don't get any kind of sane advice. They don't even want to put an effort. What else do we expect? Right? There are certain situations, I won't say all, there are certain situations where, yeah, things are a little bit more difficult and causes other kind of challenges, which is why, I mean, I don't want to go into the gory details of this topic because there's a lot of complications, right?
Yes,
and it's not necessary to discuss this with everybody.
Yes,
right? Yeah, if anybody has some serious challenges, we can take it offline, right? But I mean, my own experience in Krishna consciousness, it is a struggle, but it has to be fought. I mean, we have to fight this battle, because if we don't fight this battle, then we are back. Then we are back in this material world.
I mean, recently, a relative of mine got initiated, and they're high upper, and they're very well known. They give in the local temple, like she's literally building up the temple, and they do a lot of philanthropic work also. So now, Prabhu, she asked me. She said, "It's my 60th this thing, and my husband's not a devotee. I mean, they say this. What do I do? I have my Louis Vuittons. What do I do?" I said, like it becomes very precarious to answer such questions. I said, Mataji, don't spoil your family life also, and then please restrict yourself.
What age is, how old is she?
Prabhu, they have grandchildren also.
Oh my God! I mean, we shouldn't even be discussing this here.
No, it's a 60th birthday. It's very so many times like we do have these sort of equations.
No.
The
I mean,
this is all.
This is and all. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. 60 is gone, right? Like, I mean, what is Shastra telling? Shastra is telling Grihastha closes 50. Right now we are talking about 60. I don't want to discuss it at all. Okay?
No, Prabhu, if I tell them don't, the family will break.
No. They let them break. No, what they're anyway doing nonsense. What? How does it matter? Anyway, I don't want to discuss this, Mataji. Sorry. I don't know.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask also.
Yeah, I mean, this is not even something worth discussing, right? I can understand 30 years, 40 years, something, okay, still difficult to control, etc. 50 means gone, done. 60 means like you're one step into, death,
one is
right? No, one step into death, right?
Yeah.
Like anytime it can happen, right? Now, even at that time, if all these things are so important for us and not Krishna, then what is the point? I mean, no point discussing at all, right? Let's leave it. Let them do whatever they want. We don't want to discuss. Yeah, Shashank Prabhu. Sorry, Mataji. I mean, just
because Prabhu, sometimes it's very of course you're whipping it very well, but sometimes we become very for us to answer becomes it's nice, like I mean, at least I can now boldly talk.
Yeah, I mean, we have to ask saying that, do you want Krishna or you want to hold on, some nonsense that's happening in the material world just because your husband is a non-devotee? I mean, you've done your duty, right? You've done 60 years, you've served whatever it is required, right? Now, don't tell me that even after this, you are still dependent or you still have to satisfy these low-class requirements, right? I mean, you do, okay, fine. You take care of your family, you cook for them, you take care of them, whatever. I mean, which is not even recommended by Shastra. But you want to do all that, okay, please do. That's fine. But don't come to this grade. I mean, you can't be a devotee and then be doing this at 60 years, right? It's not, it's just, I mean, I just feel that we are just cheating our gurus and acharyas by taking this route.
I mean, like she follows everything, perfect, 4:30, everything, her chanting, her this thing. But then, yeah, Prabhu, I got your answer. I got what you said.
Yeah.
Like, and it will help me in future with some other devotees too. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, Shashank Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah. No.
Prabhu, initially the first stage is Kanishta Adhikari. Then when we follow, like be friend of everyone, tolerate envious people, then we'll come to stage of Madhyama Adhikari.
Yeah, Madhyama Adhikari is a preacher. So Madhyama Adhikari mainly is Prabhupada. I mean, various Rupa Goswami talks about it in Udeshamrita. Then Kapil Muni talks about in Bhagavatam. So there's a lot of discussion about this Kanishta, Madhyama, Uttama. Uttama is like the pure devotee who's just doesn't see anybody as a non-devotee. He sees everybody as a devotee. He cannot preach. So it said the Uttama Adhikari comes down to the status of Madhyama to preach, wherein he makes this distinction. He makes this distinction between different living entities. So this discrimination is required. This is another misconception in ISKCON saying that it's offensive. No, discrimination is required, but offensive behavior is not acceptable. Discrimination has to be done, but behavior has to be controlled as per Shastra, like as it is being said here. And envious, be tolerant. Ignorant, innocent, be merciful. Equals, have friendship, and see everybody on the spiritual platform. And that person is a devotee. He has to be. He's a preacher. He has to be a preacher devotee. At that stage, he has to be a preacher devotee. Otherwise, it's very difficult to move to Madhyama stage. Madhyama is very, very exalted, actually. We think that we feel, oh, no, I've been in ISKCON for many years, so I should have made progress from Kanishta. But sometimes some statements about Madhyama Adhikari just make, I can speak about myself. I can say I'm a preacher, but there are some statements which will make me not qualified to be a Madhyama and then pushes me down to Kanishta. So there are it's a very high tall order. Yeah, we have to keep practicing so that at least, when we actually come to the stage when we are absolutely non-envious, or when we are, forget about being non-envious, when we can show mercy to the envious, when we can be tolerant towards the envious, we can show mercy towards innocent, we can have friendship towards other devotees, and see everybody equally, then we are at Brahma Bhuta, then we are at Mukti, we are at the stage of Mukti, very exalted state. Yeah, but the only thing that will help us actually get there is preaching, either book distribution, directly Vyasasan preaching, assisting, being part of a program, and taking up serious responsibility for preaching. There are so many devotees here who are attending these classes who are from our Ulimau center, and they're all seriously taking up preaching. Now everybody has responsibilities. They have to take care of 15 people, and we just did some of course, even in Vijayanagar, now we are going to instill this, right? Everybody has to now take up responsibility of other jivas, and their spiritual progress will be, devotees' responsibility. Obviously, if we have to tell somebody, speak to somebody, help somebody, then we have to do ourselves properly, and that is going to push everybody to the next level. Everybody's bhakti will go to the next level, right? So we have to engage in preaching somehow or the other. Yes, Prabhu. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Pranam Prabhuji. If
Yeah.
you have time, otherwise I'll ask tomorrow.
No, it's okay.
Okay, Prabhuji, my cousin brother, he had his wife delivered a son 5-6 days back, and it was a premature delivery, and the son had to be taken to another town to the hospital. So it was really a life and death situation. But it was like they were saying, pray for him, pray for him. So we are praying, but Prabhuji, my bhabhi is messaging me, Didi, tell Krishna कि मेरे baby को जल्दी मेरे पास भेज दे. Like the mother has been discharged from the hospital after surgery, and the child is still in another town in the hospital. So, Prabhuji, what should I do in this situation? It is really heartrending. I've been praying to Lord, and I am offering lamp in the child's name in the evening. And what else can I do? And I'm telling them the Lord is merciful. He do mercy. Don't worry. But
it's not there unless they are devotees. We can't. I'm just telling you.
No, they
Tatva.
are devotees. Like
They are
they
devotees,
are
then
not
obviously.
initiated.
No,
They are
then it's
not
in the
on that level,
no
Prabhuji. Like they
problem.
are
No, bro,
kind
no
of.
level,
Mm.
no level. If they're dependent on Krishna, see, I have
Yes,
told this
they are.
multiple times, right? Surrender simply means coming in front of Krishna and saying, Krishna, I'm yours. That's all, over, end of story. Everything else is just, learning to become more and more, in correcting our actions, behavior to align with that mood of surrender, right? But Krishna doesn't see all this in terms of when there is difficult situation, right? Difficult situation when a devotee simply calls out, lifts his hands and calls out to Krishna, Krishna, I don't have anybody else. You know what Uttara said? You remember, tell Mataji this, I'll be happy to speak to her. Uttara said, saying that if you want to take my life, but please retain the life of this devotee who is in my stomach, if you so desire. This was her prayer
Yes,
when the Brahmastra was fired at Parikshit, right? So, yeah, Mataji should feel that, yeah, of course, if she's not very, she can absolutely, she can ask for Krishna for, it's a life-threatening situation. We can always pray. Even Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says that it is not mixed devotion if you are praying to Lord for survival. So you absolutely pray.
yes, Prabhuji. And I was putting this phrase, Krishna, if you so desire, give life to the soul. He's just,
Yeah,
I
if you
was
so desire,
using this
make him a
phrase.
devotee. Let him remain, make him a devotee, and let him change the
Yes,
world, right? And yeah, Krishna. See, when it comes to devotees, Krishna knows. Actually, we don't have to go and spell out anything. We have to just pray, Krishna,
yes,
you know this devotee situation. Please take care of it. Please do whatever, so that their trust. Actually, in all these situations, I only pray one thing to Krishna, saying that let them not lose trust on you, Krishna. That's all I pray.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because
That was my worry. Yes, yes,
yeah, because see, we don't know what is actually absolutely right for that jiva, right? And our prayers, yeah, if you are very exalted, our prayers will make a lot of difference. But what we can absolutely pray is saying that let nobody should lose trust on Krishna. That's the most important thing, and that's the only thing I pray normally, saying that whatever it is, let them not lose trust. Mm, that's all. And Krishna also knows that, but yeah, we are just yeah,
yes,
doing
Prabhuji.
our bit.
That was
That's it.
what was bothering me. Ki they should not lose their faith in Krishna. Like,
Yeah, we can just pray for
if
that.
God forbid something happens, they should not lose faith, because already things happened that my brother was losing, like because of some situations in ISKCON, like there were some political situations in their town, and he was saying कि ISKCON दीदी इतना अब है नहीं, he's serving Vaishnavas, but उसको थोड़ा हो रहा था कि ISKCON में कई चीजें गलत हो रही हैं, तो ये
Yeah,
चीजें
so
आ रही
okay,
थी
yeah.
from
Okay,
them,
anyway,
but
yeah, we
I
can pray. We can
thank
pray
you, Prabhuji.
holistically pray for them to not lose faith
Yes,
in
yes,
Krishna.
yes,
Like Prabhupada, yeah, said okay, yeah, not to lose faith in Krishna. Yes, I don't want to say more.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? Okay, we'll close here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhishta Kripa Sindhu Chapati Dhanam Bhavane Vaishnava Dhanam Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandat
Krishna.
Pranam. Danvat